Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and you probably don't know what today is, but this is actually a very special video because in reality, this is our 1000th video, meaning we've made 1,000 videos. And to make this day very special and this video very special, first of all, guys, I want to say thank you. Of course, you guys are the long-term team. Love you guys. But to make this day or this video special, I wanted to answer one question per 100 videos. In reality, in this video, I'm going to be answering 10 questions, and you read the title right. One of these questions is going to be my husband or boyfriend, whatever, has $150,000 and I have $1 million. Okay, so I'm gonna answer that question in this video also. If you guys are new here, welcome, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified, and on top of that, also smash, destroy the like button. That's how we get these videos out there. But let's get right into the video with the first question. So the first question is pay off debt, save, or invest. What do you do here? And the context is, hey Tommy, I'm 19 years old, making $31,200 a year as a part-time nanny. By the way, that is a lot of money at age 19. I was not making that much money at all. I'm in college, but only have about $2,500 in my student loan debt, which I don't have to pay off until I'm out of college. That's not true. You have to pay it off now, although they don't require it, but you should pay it off now to take that big boulder off your back as soon as possible. I also have a car loan in my name that I pay off monthly. Bad decision. Why have a car loan? Just buy a used car, especially when you make this much money in college at age 19. Buy a used vehicle and call it a day. What else here? And always put a little extra towards it. Great, but it would have been better just to buy a used car. I have been putting $250 in a Roth IRA account each month, but thinking of bumping that up to $500 because you probably want the max contribution of $6K a year, because I know how much it pays off to start off early. I have a balance of $3,472 in my Roth IRA and a balance of $6,250 in my high yield savings accounts. The savings accounts. And what do you guys think? Should I be prioritizing maxing out the Roth IRA, or should I be saving more / paying off debt? By the way, this question is in a Reddit that I basically read, a big fan of, but I say Tommy because I just like to feel special, okay? But overall, what would I do here? First of all, you're young, congratulations, but my priorities would be this. First of all, no investing just yet. First of all, get a budget, make sure you're good and straight, then go ahead and pay off your debt. Your priority should be to try to graduate fully debt-free, because that's going to basically take a big boulder off your back. So if you're putting all your money towards graduating debt-free and also having no debt, meaning you sell the car or you pay it off, that's the idea. And once you're done getting rid of the debt, then what you do next is basically save for emergencies, 3 to 6 months, because most likely, this seems very mature to me, so you might be living alone, so if things go wrong, you might have an issue. So have money for emergencies. And then finally, you invest 10 to 20% of your income. If you're making like $31,000, or $31,000 a year, well, that's around, divided by 12, that's around like $2,500 a month. So multiply it by 0.2, that's only investing like around $560 every single month into your Roth IRA, which is great. It's awesome, you can do that, and I recommend it. But then with the rest of your money, you put that money towards saving up for a down payment. Why, Tommy? You're so young. The answer is, well, you're young, but eventually you will need that. So imagine graduating college, you have no debt, emergency fund, money in your Roth IRA, and also some savings for a down payment later on when you're 25 or 26 or 27, when you actually want to buy a home, but at least you have the down payment now, so you don't have to worry about it later. That's the answer to your question. I hope that helped. Now, question number 2. And by the way, at age 19, I was not asking any of these questions. I was on some, some dumb stuff. I'm just gonna be real with you guys, okay? Now, here's the next question, guys, okay? To hold or to sell a company stock. Now, if you guys don't know, companies, when you work for them, instead of giving you like a cash bonus, they just give you, for example, sometimes like stock options, or just give you stock right outright, okay? And you actually get taxed in the beginning of it, okay? So it's no big deal. You pay taxes on it, but now you have the stock. If it goes up, you make more money, or whatever it is. But here is what the question is. I work for Amazon. Congratulations. Shout out to Amazon. Jeff Bezos, what is up? And I'm having a hard time deciding whether to sell $70,000 worth of shares. I have a personal debt to a family member around $30,000. First mistake is stop borrowing money from family and stop lending money to family. It makes relationship very complex and I don't recommend it. And who the heck lends you $30,000 just like that? That's pretty crazy. And my choice is to pay that off in installments or liquidate stocks and pay back in a lump sum. So the question here is, do I pay this off in installments or do I pay it off in full? Great question. For my personal peace of mind, I rather the latter, but I don't know if this is smart from an investment perspective. I'll get roughly 80K more next year, so it'll be outgoing decision to some extent. If I sell now, I don't have to sell the future vested shares and could stay invested, Maybe I should liquidate. He's like thinking out loud, like this guy or this girl, whatever. He's like, I should do this, I could do this, but what's the question? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should liquidate entirely so I'm more diversified. I'd probably invest the remaining in ETFs or a handful of long-term individual stocks. However, I'm worried about paying taxes on the gains and then paying taxes again if I sell whatever I buy. At some point, aren't taxes good since they're a representation of gains? I'm having trouble figuring out what to do here. Would love to get some advice from you guys, okay? So the question is, I owe money, I have stock, do I keep it or do I sell it? Simple. The answer is whenever you get paid, for example, this money in stock, like the money is already paid in taxes. So if you liquidate that, the stocks, you don't pay any taxes on it if you have no gain. If you have gain, that's when you actually pay taxes on it, long-term or short-term capital gains tax. However, my big thing is, would I rather do it in installments, have that money in there, let it grow? The thing is, Amazon is an individual stock. So if you can't analyze that stock and you don't know how to, the answer is you probably should not be invested into it. So if I were you, that's the only thing I can do, put myself in your shoes, is I would get rid of the debt first. So liquidate completely, pay off the $30,000 with the rest of the money, save for emergencies, and then the rest of it, put it into a portfolio of long-term investments that I actually understand and not long-term individual investments. Stop thinking that because the company is big, it's gonna stick around for your retirement. Because again, if you're 30 and you retire 30 years later, what company is going to be around 30 years later? The likelihood is actually very low. So no, put your money into some index funds or ETFs that track indexes. That's the idea. If you want to copy what I do, portfolio is linked down below. So overall, pay off the debt, save for emergencies, invest the rest, and then focus on most likely a down payment for a home if you actually want to get into that. That's the idea. That's the answer. I would pay it off. Pay it off. And also, diversification is super important, especially when you don't know what you're doing with one stock. Very important. Now, next question. Again, guys, these are great problems to have, right? Like, oh, I have $7,000 a year. Like, that's a great problem to have, honestly. So I'm not really mad about this one at all. Okay. Third question here, saving when living on my own at age 19. So my expenses come to about, rounded up, okay, to $1,695 a month. Couldn't you round up all the way to $1,700? Like, what happened there? This essentially like rent. Okay, this is essentially like rent, car payments, insurance, food, etc. My salary after taxes and deducted insurance is about $1,800 per month. This seems a lot more relatable to me. Aside that, I did not live alone at age 19. I did not have a car, so actually it's not like me at all. Best way to save / invest my money. I'm horrible at saving, but real great at spending. It feels foreign to me. Honestly, any tips, I will greatly appreciate it. You know, I can relate to that. I'm very bad. Like, saving does not come natural to me. Like, I have to literally do the saving. Spending though, can spend it all in 1 second, just like that. And I have ideas right now to spend all of it in 1 second. But overall, the core idea is when you're this broke, you should not be thinking about investing, especially if you have, for example, debt, and you do because you have a car payment and you don't make that much money. I'm just being real, and you're only age 19. But my priorities would be like more like the nanny, going to college or getting a trade job, or taking a course, just acquiring a new skill in order to make more money. That would be my priority. That would be my investment. My investments would not be in stocks and bonds and stock, none of that stuff. It would just be in myself to increase my earning potential, and then I would worry about more investing, okay? So again, if I'm 19 all over again and only making $1,600 a month, I would say, let me pay off this debt as fast as possible, or potentially just sell the car, cut my losses, and just buy a beater car, and then boom, save some money for emergencies. But all the extra money, I'm gonna put that money towards, for example, just getting a degree, a trade job, whatever it is, and pay for it for cash, or as much as I possibly can, to graduate in 1 to 2 years and walk out of there earning $40,000 to $50,000 to $60,000, okay? And that is a better use of my money. Because again, if I invest having $600, I can't really invest that much. But if I invest having $6,000 in the bank by having a skill or like an income, that's gonna be a lot more. So again, that is my answer of what I would do personally. But again, who asked me, okay? Who asked me? Now, this question, number 4, is a lot longer, but I do like it. I do like it. So let's read this one, guys, okay? I tend to make the financial decisions for my family, and I'm not sure of what my decision is going to be moving forward anymore. I added like 10 words to this question, but yeah, you get it. My wife and I, both 34 years old, are in a fairly good spot financially, okay? We were fortunate enough to get into the housing market in 2016 before prices got too high, and were able to buy a second property in 2018. Great. Then, by the way, usually I don't recommend you buy a property until you're done with your first property and paid it off, because then you just add in like different casualties that can actually go wrong. Then build and sell a cottage this past summer on a native reserve up north of us. Okay. We recently added our first child to our family in September. Congratulations. And she'd like to stay home with the baby until he's in school around 5 years old. Not bad. I'm not against that. To help accommodate that, we're considering selling the rental. Estimated it'll sell for around $650 with $254 owing. So by the way, these numbers are big to the point where he just had to use like normal numbers, okay? But these are big numbers, guys, okay? So he has left over $396, not counting in the taxes and the capital gains. Selling her house, and now she wants to sell, he wants to sell his house for around $650 with owing $300,000. So again, that's an extra $350 right here. So now you have $746,000. Upsizing, looking for something in the $750 range. So basically above what he actually has. And by the way, after taxes, you're probably gonna have a lot less than this, okay? At the same time, I want to be close to a home. At the same time, I want to be close to home and available. Currently union electrician, and there's a job opportunity at a hospital 5 minutes away. If we sell everything mentioned above and go through with this plan, as well as take the job, $14 an hour pay cut because he wants to be closer, we should be able to float everything while saving roughly $150 a week. Okay. Sounds like a trash idea. I feel like everything is sound, but I feel so unease when I've been trying so hard for the past few years and work towards financial freedom and the idea of retirement in my late 40s, and I feel like this is just going backwards. I've tried reaching out to a financial planner that is focused on real estate, but I haven't had any luck whatsoever. I'm not sure what to do. I don't know what advice I'm looking for, or if this is anything venting my, or if this is me venting my concerns. The answer is, I think this advice or this idea is just super trash. Okay, so the idea that right now you live in a property that's worth $650,000, and you're telling me you need to, for what reason, exactly upgrade the house or size up. I'm pretty sure that house has more than 3 bedrooms, okay? Most likely, depending on where you live, you don't live in New York or, for example, like California. But I would not sell my property. What I would do is potentially sell the other property, keep, for example, the $396, pay off my current property. Now we have no shelter costs. I have my job, I have my emergency fund, and now my expenses are a lot lower, and you can just invest more money and be a lot closer to your financial goals and financial freedom a lot faster. But I would talk to my wife about this, because literally it makes no sense. You're going from one, and by the way, the average millionaire does not ever buy a home for $750,000. It is ridiculous. But if you're already in it, and by the way, the wife wants to quit the job to stay home with the kid, so that salary is basically gone. On top of that, she wants to upgrade the house like to double potentially of what they paid for initially. It's a very stupid concept. So I wouldn't upsize. The baby is not gonna be upset for the first 5 years. Like, nobody cares. I would keep the property, sell the other one, pay off my current one, Call it a day with that. Save for emergencies. That's basically gonna be your foundation, and then focus more on investing, for example, into a retirement fund or whatever, and then just spend some extra money, because you will have extra money because you basically have no mortgage anymore, to take care of your wife. You know, buy her some things, you know, buy her some diamonds or whatever. She'll be a lot happier, okay? But I'm not gonna do that. That's just stupid. That's my answer to that question. Very stupid. That's not what I would do at all. But then again, you're asking me, or I'm answering you, so that's what I would do. So there you go. All right, so question number 5, I've lost track at this point, but my boyfriend, this is the one with the title you guys are probably interested in. You probably thought I had a boyfriend. I don't have a boyfriend, okay? I'm not, that's not what I do. Do what you do, that's not what I do. My boyfriend is $150,000 in student loan debt, and I have $1 million net worth. That's pretty crazy. How should we do financially planning for our future? So basically, my boyfriend has $150 in debt. I have $1 million net worth. What do we do? How do we plan this out? Okay. And they're boyfriend and girlfriend, not even married. So my boyfriend, age 30, who I have been dating for 5 months. Okay. Just slow down. Like, you're just like 5 months in, and wait, has $150,000 student loan debt, 120 principal, $30,000 in accrued interest. Like, he has not been paying, and has a job that pays around $8,000. Not a bad salary at all. That's pretty good. He has $8K in his 401k, so has not been doing any investing or paying off debt. What has we been doing? Literally, my salary, her salary, including, for example, like stock bonuses and all that stuff, is around $250K. Maybe doctor, nurse, lawyer, don't know, but I'm curious. And I have $140K in my retirement account. Congratulations. And around $1 million in my brokerage account, and $10,000 in cash savings. That's pretty crazy. Sounds like she's been maxing out her 401k and then putting all her money into a retirement account. I mean, into a brokerage account. That is awesome. Like, you can retire right now if you wanted to. That's great. Congratulations. We have talked about marriage plans, and I see us getting married next year. Why? At the moment, he is paying off his interest for the loan and doesn't have much left at the end of the month after expenses. I would like to buy a house some point for our family. How do we approach our situation? After we are married, should I pay his debts with the brokerage funds, or should, it sounds like she's trying to give this guy everything, or should we keep paying down as much as we can from our salaries? I mean, you can pay the whole thing off in 6 months with your salary, right? On one hand, I don't want us to pay a lot of interest on the loan, but on the other hand, I also don't want to spend a large part of our investments on a student loan debt early in our marriage. Edit. I'm not planning on paying off a student loan before we are married. By marriage plans, I mean we are both dating seriously with an intention to get married. We practically live together. I've met his extended family, and he's going to talk to my family pretty soon. Sounds like a very stupid, dumb idea filled with love and no concept in actual mental capabilities. I sound harsh, I know. But I really want to make this clear. When you have this massive difference in income, $1 million and negative 150 is a big difference. It's basically a lot of difference, okay? So first of all, you probably want to get a prenup, right? Because you have this massive difference. It just makes sense. And if you're a Christian, it's fine to get a prenup also, because there's this massive difference in wealth. It just makes sense for protection. You have this massive difference. And also, Dave Ramsey says it's not just for you guys, but also for the family members, in case they think they're getting any money just because you're married to this guy or whatever. But my main concerns would be, you've only known this guy for 5 months, and sometimes that is enough time to get married. It's fine. But my main concern is that this guy has had this debt for a while, hasn't been making any type of improvements, and is only probably making improvements right now because you're talking to him about it. So it's kind of I've been this way for a while. You're telling me not to do this so we can get married and all this other stuff, so I might just change for a little bit. But what about when you're actually married? Will he relapse? Would he not be interested anymore? So my idea is focus more on his habits than what he's saying to you, because his habits are shown with his history. That's a lot of debt. That's the idea. So 4 things to focus on when it comes to marriage. You have kids. Be on the same page there. How many do you want? How are you going to raise them? Money. What is your idea on money? Are we long-term investors? Are we trying to invest for a future? Are we not spending a lot of money? Do we pay off? Have the same concept there. And then also, for example, in-laws. How do we actually get along with in-laws? And by the way, most likely, when your family meets him, they'll tell you a few things you probably didn't realize because they're not in love with him. And then lastly, so you have money, in-laws, kids, and lastly, religion. If you're in the same religion, that helps a ton also. But overall, there's a saying, right? The saying says, date for a very long time without, for example, like all the extra stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, just so you can actually get to know this person without the dopamine released in your brain. And date for a long time, and then engage for a short time, and then get married ASAP. But date for a while until you get this together. There's no rush here. There's no deadline. And also get a prenup. That would be my advice for this question. Guys, what do you think about my advice, okay? Is it good, is it solid, or is it not? Comment down below, let me know. Now, question number 6 here. Rollover IRA question. I love these. I recently changed jobs and flipped my 401k at my old job to a rollover IRA. It says I can deposit $6K into it by year end. Is there an income limit to an IRA, or is that only for a Roth IRA? I make around $140,000 a year, with my wife makes $90 to $100K. Those are amazing incomes. Congratulations. I also started a new 401k at my new employer. Thanks. Okay, so the idea is when you quit your job or they fire you, whatever it is, you roll that money over into a traditional IRA, and there's no limit for a traditional IRA, so you're good on that point. But the Roth IRA has a limit of, let me just confirm with you guys so you actually know exactly what it is, but it has a limit of 140K for a single person. The growths, by the way, so you don't qualify, and married 208K, so you guys don't qualify, which by the way is a good problem to actually have. But you could be maxing out the traditional and also the 401k, and then just roll it over into the Roth IRA, which is fine, but you just can't contribute into it. There's a difference, okay? That's the idea. So what I would do is roll it over into traditional IRA and then roll that over into the Roth IRA, either now or when your income becomes lower in the future. It's really up to you, but I would do it now because later on you might not have the money and you have to pay taxes on it too. And you don't have to roll all the money over all at once. But yeah, that's my advice. And by the way, congratulations on that massive high income. That's a pretty good income, honestly. Next question. Initial investment advice. I love these because we all start as beginners and it just is what it is. Sometimes I'm harsh, but it is what it is, okay? I have about $200 between stocks and ETFs and of current. I think you mean like currency or like cryptocurrency, I think. Currently just put in a little bit each day. What? Each paycheck into those, but want to go a smarter route once I get moved. Okay, so I think he's moving. I'm waiting until I move. Okay, so they clarify that mid to January. What? Mid-January, okay. To set up other accounts due to the address change, I'm 90 years old. I plan on going to a massage school, then college later on. What would be a step 1? Investment after emergency fund. I'm stuck between the Roth IRA, 401k IRA. Then what is the best allocation for mutual funds, index funds, and so on? So it sounds like you don't really know what you're doing. You're just getting started. You're 19 years old. You're about to go to college, all this stuff. Massage school. The answer is, at age 19, I would strongly consider staying with your parents unless it's toxic and unless they're kicking you out. Why? Because you don't have shelter costs and you can basically save a lot of money. So I would get a job. First of all, you probably have one already. I would go to massage school and then graduate and then consider moving out. But by that point, I save a lot of money. I pay cash for massage school, so that way I graduate without having any real problems. But the steps would be debt-free, save for emergencies first, 3 to 6 months, and then start investing 10 to 20% into. The order I do it in is very simple. It's basically free money at the company first, so 401k at the company first, if they give you like a match, and then the rest of the money into the Roth IRA. That's what I would personally do, and only 10 to 20% income for investing. The rest, save it for a down payment when the time actually comes. And for like what to invest into, I have a link down below, or look up how to invest TommyBryson, or what does TommyBryson invest into, and you'll know exactly what I invest into also. Now, next question. I hope I answered that question. And by the way, the goal is when I answer these questions, most likely you have the same questions, so I'm kind of answering a lot of people's questions, okay? So here's a crazy one here. Parent became mentally disabled. What do I do? And by the way, I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea where to start to secure their finances. I have the power of attorney over medical and financial. I have to set everything up before a court date in February. There are physical taking care of what? They are physically taken care of since I work in a medical field but have no idea about finances. Okay, so they're being taken care of like medically, so that's good. What I know, they have a social security account. Great, so that means they have checks coming in. Bank account with retirement money. Great, how much? We don't know. House, car, haven't paid taxes in years. Can I put their stuff in a trust and put my name on it since they didn't have other dependents? Also, can I invest with their money into the Roth IRA? The services they have currently aren't sustainable if they live another 10 to 20 years without some sort of investment. That's sad, right? That's really sad. What I would say is this, okay? First of all, I'm sorry. It sucks, I know. But if the main thing, the most expensive thing usually is medical care. So that's taken care of. As far as like a car, they probably don't need a car because they can't drive. So sell that car. That's cash in your pocket, in their pocket. And then consider, for example, if they have like a home, like they're living in a house, not for example in a medical home or whatever. If they are in a medical home, then that's fine. But if they have a home, consider potentially selling the home and downsizing and using that money to fund the investment account even more. And then consider, for example, only taking 4% of his or her portfolio in order to, for example, make the money last as long as possible. Max I would do is 5%. What would I invest into? I have a portfolio linked down below again, but when you're like this and you need that money to live, I would have some bonds in there. So probably like 80-20. So 80-20, like 80% into stock ETFs and then 20% into bond ETFs because you need some consistency in case things go wrong and you go through a rough period. That's what I would probably do. So for example, if this person has like, let's say like $300,000 in the retirement money, 4% of that would be like around $12,000 divided by 12. It's like around $1,000 per month, okay? And the money keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. Once they hit, the problem with like assuming like, oh, 10 to 20 years that you don't know when a person is gonna, you know what I'm saying? Only God knows that. So they could be around for another 50 years. Like who knows, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I would do. The 4% rule with a good portfolio and then sell everything that has no use anymore and put that in the investment portfolio. That is what I would do here. Sorry to hear about this, okay? Very sorry. Next question. First time investor looking for advice. This one is gonna be great, guys. You guys are gonna love this one, okay? Hey everyone, I'm brand new to investing and ready to get started. All right, I'm 22 years old and just started adding into my IRA plan through work in September. All right, I currently have about $800 in my account and $125 added weekly. All right, $90 of which I can actually touch. The 3% match won't be available until after 24 months of being with the job. Pause. I would not be investing into my 401k or my IRA plan with my company if they're not giving me a match. I would just put my money into my Roth IRA personally because you can't even max it out with that much money. So put into the Roth IRA, it's yours, you have more options, and you get to pick your investments yourself. Either way, about 5 days ago, I decided to finally get into stocks. Okay, 5 days ago. I've made $50 at my 4 days in the market and feel pretty good about it. All right, my understanding of stocks. 50% of the money I have available is in the markets in them. But I wanted to put another 25% towards investing also. I was wondering about mutual funds and if I would actually make sense to put $500 into one or if I should wait to use a bigger lump sum come April 2022 when I get my raise and bump my contributions from $6,000 to $12,000 for the year. I use Fidelity. First of all, let's be real here. You're just getting started. You're not an expert. You've been in the market for 4 days and you probably don't really know what you're doing. I'm just being real. I'm just being honest. So my idea would be this. Again, debt-free emergency. We know that. But as far as investing, just invest 10, 20%. Put the money right now into the Roth. And when they give you the match, you put first in the match to get that 3% and then the rest of the money in the Roth. What would you invest into? I would get a Roth, maybe if you do Fidelity is fine, or Vanguard, but invest into, well, I invest into S&P 500, international ETF, small cap, REITs, and what's that word I'm looking for? And emerging markets. Those are my 5 investments. I have a portfolio link down below if you want to know exactly how I do it, their location, all that stuff. But that's what I would do as far as, for example, investing into retirement. I would not be picking stocks unless you want to do it full time. And before you do that, you got to learn exactly how it works and not be guessing. So I would not do that. So if you have $12,000, put the 6K into the Roth, then the other 6K into the IRA, and you also get some free money. But I would not be playing around at all as far as like, I'm gonna pick this stock and that stock if you don't know what you're doing. So that's the answer there. Stop playing stock investor. You're not Warren Buffett after 4 days. Get your stuff together, okay? By the way, I'm not trying to be mean, but what I'm saying is there's a large confusion between, for example, luck and skill. 4 days, just got started, most likely that's going to be luck unless you're some super genius and you know, for example, accounting and finance just by when you were born or whatever. That's what I mean. Last question here. Close my credit cards. Previously, I've been financially irresponsible and as a result, have a little bit of debt to clear. A little bit of debt. Let's hear it. By the way, when I was 19, I think 2021, I had around $13,000 in credit card debt. It sucks. Which includes 4 credit cards. I'm fortunate to have come into a small pot of money and want to use this to clear my debt. Okay, so you have some money, you can clear all of it, that's great. The credit cards are all bad credit / high interest type cards. Doesn't really matter because if you're paying them off in full, it does not matter. When I've paid them, as long as they don't have like an annual fee, that's what I care about the most. When I've paid them off, should I close them or leaving them open? I eventually want to switch to a proper credit card and use this for a regular payment, which I'll clear each month. But in the meantime, what's the best way to improve and maintain my credit? Ideally, I like to keep one open anyways for the rainy day. That's some stupid idea. I'm in the UK, if that changes anything. Okay, so first of all, a credit card is not for a rainy day. And you don't need credit to buy a house because they analyze your income, your expenses, and then they build a portfolio, a profile for you based on that information. So what would I do here? The answer is, okay, if they don't have an annual fee, I would keep the older 2 cards or 3 cards, and I would put a small bill on them like Netflix or Apple Music or my internet bill or my phone bill. Put it on there and have them pay themselves off in full every single month. The other card, I would close it. So keep like 2 or 3, close the other 2. Essentially, you will take a hit, but it will be temporarily because in the long term, it'll just go up. But this way, you're not going to go into debt anymore. You're going to be debt-free and you're going to be building and maintaining credit at the same time also by doing the one bill method that I basically use. As far as your rainy day, the answer is debt-free, save for emergencies. Your emergencies are your rainy day. Have you ever seen a rainy day that when you take advantage of it, it gets more rainy? That's a credit card. Because when you take that money, you're paying 18% to 24% on it every single year. That's bad for business. Don't do it. But guys, that has been this video, this little Q&A. Long video, I know, but I wanted to make this 1000th video special. And by the way, if you check my channel, videos have been privated and that's why it doesn't show 1,000. But it has been 1,000, trust your boy. Thank you guys for all the support. Appreciate you guys a ton. And if you guys want me to take your questions next time when we do this again, well, leave me a DM on Instagram at TommyBryson. Thanks as always. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. On top of that, also, what else? Instagram at TommyBryson. More videos here. Click my face here. Long-term team out.